Welcome to the Army Painter Academy, our series of helpful video and graphic tutorials that you can find on your preferred social media channels and on our blog at thearmypainter.com. At the Army Painter, we have smart paint systems designed to help make painting easy, fun, and fast, no matter your skill level or the technique of your choice. In this edition of the Academy, we're going to teach you 3 ways to paint blue armor using the speed painting method, a traditional layered method with the Warpaints Fanatic range, and the airbrushing method with our airbrush-ready Warpaints Air range. We're using a Space Marine from Games Workshop's popular Warhammer 40,000 range. Starting with the speed painting method, we're using a color primer coat of ash gray. Speed paints are designed to be applied over light colors or zenithal primed base coats. Using matte white will give a bright, vibrant finish, where ash gray will help to desaturate your speed paint of choice. With a large brush like our Wargamer Monster Brush, apply a liberal coat of your speed paint of choice. We're using Magic Blue here. Focus on the areas like the boots first before moving up to the legs, the torso, and arms. This will allow you time to focus on that area before the speed paint dries to ensure smooth, even coverage without any of the paint overpooling in any of the details. One coat is all it takes for speed paint thanks to its vibrant coverage and instant shadow. If you're using speed paint as a base color, you're ready to begin chipping or highlighting away. The traditional method requires a base coat of acrylic paint. Thanks to the insane coverage properties and smooth performance of the Warpaints Fanatic range, you can get 1 coat coverage in most cases. Simply thin your paints with a bit of clean water and apply with a Wargamer Regiment brush all over the armor of the mini. Once complete, you'll apply a shade to the model using dark blue tone wash. These are specially designed transparent paints that add depth and contrast to your miniature, as the pigments are designed to flow over the raised areas and into the recesses. The wash will slightly darken down the base color a bit, so allow it to dry and re-establish your base color of Imperial Navy on the armor, leaving the deeper pigments in the shadows, just color inside the lines created by the wash. Warpaints Fanatic was developed in a clever, flexible color triad system which makes it easy to add volume and detail to your miniatures, as each color is designed to work in progression. For example, we'll apply a layered highlight of royal blue to the raised areas and blend this towards where we want the highlights to be, towards the top of the panels of the armor. You can also use this color to apply your first edge highlight. We'll follow that with a controlled edge highlight of Arctic Gem. Be as neat as you can and thin your paints for ultimate control here. In many cases, like the hard edges of the shoulder pauldron, you can actually use the edge of your brush to trace your highlight on very simply. Now we're only using 3 colors from the Vivid Blues Flexible Triad, which is more than enough for most tabletop ready paint jobs, but if you want even more subtle blends, you can put the other 3 colors from the Triad to work. Now onto our final method for painting blue armor, this time with the Warpaints Air range. If you're new to airbrushing, you'll love how easy to use these paints are. Unlike other so-called airbrush paints, ours are ready to use right from the bottle. We're starting with color primer Deep Blue here. This will give us a nice dark blue to work from. Alternatively, you can use Sapphire Gem over your primer color of choice for a similar effect. The Air range was developed in triads as well, making them perfectly suited for the way most wargamers use an airbrush. Starting with Crystal Blue, we'll apply this in a top-down or zenithal fashion. We're moving on to Ionic Blue from the Triad for a more refined application, leaving some of the previous colors in the shadows. We'll use Dark Blue Tone once again for a more focused recess wash, applying this in a controlled manner to avoid dulling down the vibrant volumes we've established with the airbrush layers. Who says you need a bristle brush to highlight your miniatures? We're using a sponge tip chipping brush here and some bright sapphire from the Warpaints Fanatic range to add some textured weathering and detail to the miniature. The contrast of smooth volumes and rough edges makes for a quick yet effective finished effect. There you have it, 3 ways to paint blue armor. You can utilize these steps for armor, robes, heraldry, or even monstrous scales. Subscribe for more from the Army Painter Academy and learn more about the products used in this tutorial at your friendly local game store, preferred online retailer, or when you visit us at thearmypainter.com.